Hello, my name is Shirley, and this was my first week of medical school. I started this video on a Tuesday. I made a more in-depth video titled The First Day of Medical School, where I went into a lot more detail in terms of what I do on a day-to-day basis. But for this week's video, I'm just going to do a general summary. So if you want a more detailed look, you can check out that other video. I woke up around 8:30 today and I had a clinical skills session at 10, so I essentially just practiced for that. And yesterday we went over a clinical case, so we were given a patient and given the problem that the patient came in with, and we're supposed to come up with some differential diagnoses, meaning that we come up with a list of diagnoses that the patient could potentially have. So whereas yesterday we were trying to determine what the patient could have in terms of conditions, today we were more so thinking about how we interact with the patient. So for example, like how we introduce ourselves or how we ask specific questions. It was great because I got a lot of feedback, and I also got to give feedback regarding the other students and how they did. I really appreciated how it was like the Goldilocks medium in terms of how I felt, because we're not graded, so there's not too much pressure, but there is enough pressure because, you know, we are giving a presentation. And I really appreciated that the school is providing us these sessions to practice how we would speak as a student doctor. So that, you know, by the time we actually do that in our third year, we'll have a lot of practice and we'll feel confident going in. So after the session, I took off my blazer because it was getting pretty hot. And then I had a meeting with my team to go over the clinical case that we got assigned yesterday. All right, so I haven't eaten yet, so I'm gonna go get some lunch and then I'm gonna work on the rest of my to-do list. So my top priorities for today are to work on the clinical case because I'm meeting with my team tomorrow to go over that in more detail. And then I also want to study. We have another class on Friday, so there are a bunch of lectures and videos that I need to go over. All right, so it's about 12:30 at night, and other than dinner, exercising, I essentially spent the whole day studying, and I definitely can relate to the analogy of drinking from a fire hydrant in terms of the sheer amount of information we're expected to know. So yeah, lots of studying, and we'll continue to do lots of studying in the coming days and weeks and years. It was really cool though, because today I emailed a professor a question and he actually asked a call via Microsoft Teams, which is the platform we use, and I was just blown away because I have only ever had professors email back, which is the standard form of communication that I'm used to. But he called me and went into detail in terms of answering my question. I sent my email around 9 p.m. and he replied to it within a few minutes, and we called a little past 9. So I was just blown away, not only by how quickly he responded, but by the fact that he asked to call when it's at night, when he could be relaxing and getting ready for bed. And I'm just super, super grateful for all the faculty, because all of them have been very quick in responding to me, as well as very thorough in their answers. And it just makes me very happy to have such supportive faculty. So other than watching Malcolm in the Middle, I met up with my group today to finalize our differential diagnosis for the clinical case, as well as decide which lab tests we want to order. And then I also had what's called college colloquium, which is where we learn about research, evidence-based medicine, community health, cultural humility, professionalism, and all the other factors that go into healthcare outside of just the hard sciences like anatomy and physiology. And today I was also a little sad because I think I read a little too much into some of the messages between me and other students or other faculty. Kind of like the Key and Peele skit. I don't know if any of you have seen it. I'll leave a link down below, where one of them has completely friendly intentions when he sends a message, but the other interprets the tone of the message as very aggressive. So it's kind of funny in terms of how their perspectives are very different. But then I video called my best friend, and I also talked to another classmate who agreed that communicating online or virtually or just not in person can make it more difficult. And it's nice to know that I'm not alone, because sometimes I do overthink and think that people dislike me or that they're annoyed or are upset at me, even though chances are that's not the case. But sometimes I just misread the tone of the text message and kind of insert negative things that people think about me into the message, despite the fact that that person probably did not mean it that way whatsoever. But yeah, that's something that I never really considered when thinking about learning online, and it was just some food for thought for the day. But I definitely did feel better after talking to some people, and I also felt better when talking to a few friends regarding the sheer amount of information that we need to know and just the amount of time and effort that we need to dedicate to make sure that we fully understand and know everything. And it's just nice to know that we're all struggling together and that I'm not alone in terms of feeling like this is so much info. But logically and rationally speaking, so many students have gone through the same experience in the years before me and they got through it just fine. So it'll just take some time to adjust, and I know I'll be okay in the end. Alright, so it's about 12:30. We had 4 hours of anatomy lab slash class this morning, and it was kind of nice because we've been given the material beforehand to review, but there was some new material during the lectures as well. So I do still need to review more of it. I would say I understand about 80% of it, and over the weekend, hopefully I'll understand all of it. So I studied anatomy, and then I took a nap because I was kind of getting a headache, probably from staring at the laptop for so long, and I still have the headache, but I have to go back to studying because there's so much material. So here goes. And then afterwards, I grabbed a bite to eat, and now I'm going to write out some cards for the scavenger hunt that I have planned for my best friend's birthday today. Just picked up some sushi for the birthday girl. So it's about 7:30 now. I delivered the sushi and the scavenger hunt was successful. So now I'm gonna shower and just essentially spend the rest of the night studying. So it's about midnight right now. I am officially done with my first week of classes in medical school. This morning I had 4 hours of lectures and classes, and throughout the course of this week, as the days have gone by, I have been getting more and more lost, and I've been fluctuating between I kind of get this and this kind of makes sense to nope, I have no idea what's going on and I am completely lost. So I literally Googled failing out of medical school. And the first result that I got, I saw that the first person that posted said, I am feeling so stressed and so overwhelmed, and I'm afraid I'm gonna fail. And the second person that commented, who got a bunch of likes, said, if you are a first-year medical student and you're not feeling stressed, then there's probably something wrong. So after I read that post, I felt a whole lot better. And this afternoon, I started watching Board and Beyond videos, and that actually really helped clarify all of the information that I've been learning in lecture. And I think the reason I've been kind of falling behind or just been kind of slow in terms of getting through the lectures and getting through the material is that I've been focusing way too much on the intricate details, and instead I should be focusing on the more general picture, the bigger picture, and then going into the smaller, more intricate details as necessary, as opposed to trying to memorize and understand every single intricate detail. But yeah, after my lectures, I just edited and uploaded my first day of medical school video, and then I've been spending the rest of the day just studying, taking breaks to stretch, to eat, to do some calisthenics. But yeah, not a very eventful Friday night. So it's about 11:15 right now. I woke up about half an hour ago. I didn't set an alarm, and I guess I've just been pretty tired. I think for these next couple weeks, I'll let myself sleep in, and then afterwards, I'll try to transition to waking up at the same time every day, just so that I set my circadian rhythm. And right now, I'm gonna eat and study, and then at 1 o'clock, I have a journal club meeting. It's actually something I found online on Reddit. So essentially me and other people from around the country get together and we review journal articles and essentially summarize and give a presentation on what the article was about, what this means for current research and potentially future research. And this week I'm just listening. I didn't sign up to present, and given how crazy medical school is gonna get, I might not present for a few weeks, if not a couple months. And then after that, I have a video call with a good friend of mine, and then I'll be working on my clinical case presentation and calling another student regarding working on that, and back to studying. And I might eat some ice cream because today is really hot, but that is essentially the plan for today. So it's about 9 p.m. I just finished my slides for my clinical case presentation on Monday. And guess what came in the mail today? So it's a cup from the show Avatar: The Last Airbender, And if any of you watched my 100 activities to do during quarantine video, you'll know that Uncle Arrow is my favorite Avatar, The Last Airbender character. And my good friend got me this for my birthday, which was last month, but it just arrived today. And I love it, I love it, I love it. I also watched a fairly interesting and insightful video today called Everything I Hate About Medical Students by Dr. Hani. And one of the things that she hated about medical student culture, especially in America, because she is from the UK. She says she hates how many medical students essentially revolve their whole identity around being a medical student, and how they essentially just neglect their sleep to study and just essentially base their whole life around medicine. And that's something I discussed in my goals for medical school video in regards to how I don't want to do that. But I think for these next few months until I adjust, that is something that I will be dedicating my life to in terms of just studying all the time, because I failed a class in freshman year of high school as well as freshman year of college, and I obviously do not want to repeat that trend in medical school. So definitely studying is going to be my #1 priority. But once I get the hang of things, and also once we're able to get a better handle of COVID, I do definitely want to dedicate more time to my hobbies and just spend more time hanging out with friends and just having a life outside of medicine. She also delved into the mold that many medical students fit, the competitive nature of medical schools, race, culture, etc. And it's a very interesting video, very insightful, so I highly recommend it, and I'll leave a link down below if you're interested in watching it. And I also met up with a medical student who is currently in her 2nd year, and this was via an online scavenger hunt that one of the clubs I'm a part of put on for us. And I essentially talked to her about what being in medical school has been like, and it was very reassuring because she said that it took about a year for her to feel like she finally got the handle of her studying habits, finally got into the groove of medical school. And I've heard that it takes a few months to adjust, but for her it took a year. And it's kind of nice to know how different everyone is in terms of not just how they study, but how long it took for them to develop their current study habits. So I definitely have been stressed out this first week, but I am most certainly looking forward to whenever I get a handle of all this. Good morning. Today is Sunday, and I have a couple of medical school meetings to attend, and as always I will be studying. And then I also plan to play some online board games with a few friends, and I will be editing this video to upload for my first week of medical school. So this week so far has been not terrible. There's been a good amount of stress, but I don't feel like I'm dying necessarily. I think talking to people really helped, and I think listening to other people's experiences and knowing that so many other people have gone through this before has really helped me put things in perspective and remember that this week and even this block or these next few months are not gonna make or break me or my career. And that's comforting to know. It just helps to remember the bigger picture of why I signed up for this in the first place. I remember during orientation, one of the faculty gave us an analogy that related medical school to being on a roller coaster. He said that we have come a long way to get here. The path has been an uphill battle, and we're finally here, and now we're sitting atop the roller coaster, and we see the drop, and we're terrified. And once we start dropping, you realize that medical school is the same in terms of how exhilarating it is, how it can be stressful, how fast you're going, but also how fun it is. And at the end of the day, the most important part is that I signed up for this. I decided I wanted to pursue medicine, and this is something that I shouldn't take for granted. This is something that I should appreciate. It also reminded me of something Dr. Mike said. If you don't know him, he's probably one of the most famous physician YouTubers, and he had a video describing his residency and said how he had worked long hours indeed, but that whenever he was asked if he wanted to help out with an extra procedure or if he wanted to do XXX, a lot of his fellow residents would complain about having to work extra hours or say that they just wanted to go home. And Dr. Mike would think that, yeah, he wanted to do this because he signed up for this. He went in knowing that this is what would happen. And I'm gonna think of medical school this way in terms of both the roller coaster and the fact that I did sign up for this. So I'm gonna do my best. And in terms of vlogs, I will probably only do these every couple months because my life will be pretty monotonous in terms of just how much studying I'll be doing. But yeah, I hope that gave you a better idea of what life is like during online medical school, and I'll see you next Sunday. Until then, I surely hope that you'll take care of your health.